Hello everyone, today is Thursday, February 14th. It's 2:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's about an hour and 10 minutes before the regular session close. You can see my computer clock on my right with the date and time, and on my left you can see the time and sales, the Emini S&P currently trading at 27.51. It's a pretty good day for the Autotrader today. First up is the DAX on the Super Anko 14 tick. This has been one of our most reliable charts in all of our 660 videos from the inception of our YouTube video channel, in fact. Today was no exception. It hit its goal. We always enter a market order when we hit our goal, so we did have some slippage on here, a tick or two, and basically we had a first equity high here of about 1,200, and then drew down to just about break even and came back with these two winners here and ended up hitting our goal for the day. Okay, next up is the DAX on a Super Anko 6 tick, and this is the one with our sensitivity of 9. This did pretty well today. There was two winners and one loser, and you can see the equity curve here. This did exactly what it's supposed to do with this larger sensitivity in the pattern here, is to not get stopped out in all this noise here, have a bunch of losers back to back. The improvement that needs to be made on this is perhaps in the money management and the stop loss, but these two winning trades are actually pretty well placed. It's a limit order with an 8-tick pullback. We could try with a smaller stop loss and see how that goes, but still this is pretty respectable performance for this setup here. So this is the same setup, except what I did on this is I used the Step MA as a filter. I haven't used this too much, but I have a couple of clients that use it and really like it, and so I thought I'd try it out on this chart. So instead of a sensitivity of 9, I brought it down really tight to 1 and relying on the Step MA to filter out trades, and you can kind of see a good example of the Step MA filtering out, going long here and sticking with the Step MA. This isn't the whole picture here. This did 1900 for the day. I have a pretty high goal because the first time I've looked at this chart, the first time I'm showing this, first time I tried the settings here, and I gave it a pretty high goal because I wanted to just see it trade and see how it did. So it was quite active today. There was a lot of trades. First equity high was a few $100s, but the second equity high here was about 2,200. So indeed I would have a much lower goal on this, but it drew down quite a bit. It was all over the place. But what's interesting to note is how the Step MA worked in this kind of setup here, avoiding the chop. So indeed the Step MA or our other moving average filters could be effective in guarding against this kind of price action. Okay, next up is the NASDAQ on a 1597. I've been lowering the daily goals on some of these charts. This one is set at a goal of 1250 and a loss limit of 1,000, and it's a limit order with an 8-tick pullback, and so we got filled on our limit order, and this basically hit its goal in a single trade, and that's what you want. Okay, the NASDAQ on a 987 tick is a little bit faster chart, so slightly different performance, but it actually did catch these smaller swings and it was profitable, and certainly I could have had a higher goal on this as this swing went for quite a bit. But the aim here is to increase my win percentage by having a lower profit target, and this worked out pretty good because there was 3 winners in a row and it was done trading within the first 30 minutes of trading. And again, reducing your exposure in the market is reducing your risk. Okay, the DAX on a 150 Heikin-Ashi tick chart, the goal on this is 1,500, so this came shy of its goal, 1,375, but I'm guessing that I had $125 in slippage when we hit our market order at the end here. But another chart hitting its goal in a single trade and being finished with trading in the first 15 minutes or so. Well, I guess today was the day for charts to hit their daily goals in single trades. Here we have the crude oil on a Super Renko 7 tick also hit its goal in a single trade with extremely well placed entry and exit getting filled under limit fill here. The bar with the tail, price traded through. You can see, if I zoom in on this a little bit, you can see it just went a tick or so above the entry here. And the goal in this, I believe, is $1,200 and a $1,000 loss limit. Okay, our Emini S&P and a Super Renko 4-tick chart, always something to look at here every day. And this had a minor drawdown of just under $150 on 2 contracts. And our first equity high here, it was about 800. The reason I always mention this is that, of course, if you had a lower profit goal, you'd be done trading here instead of going through all this, but this still has a goal of 1,000. So it went through all this and then eventually had a couple of more winners and did 950 for the day. Okay, the Emini S&P on a 987 tick chart did 775, and the goal on this is 800, so I brought the target way down here, and so this did hit its goal. Here's the entirety of the equity curve, so this drew down here about $500 or $250 per contract, and then came back after that and ended up hitting its goal. Okay, the NASDAQ on a 5-minute chart has an open position long 2 at 660 open P&L and a closed P&L of negative 460 on this losing short trade. Tighter money management could have taken us out down here, but that wasn't the case. If the market rallies up to the pre-market high or breaks the high of the day, then it'll probably go much further, and hopefully this will end up on the plus side of the ledger. Okay, the Emini S&P on a Super Renko 4-tick chart with the Super Renko 6 as the higher time frame, another very reliable chart with a 750 goal, hit its goal with no slippage. And this is the entirety of the equity curve here. The drawdown was less than $100, and then it was up from there into our goal. Okay, this is the Super Renko 4-tick on the Emini S&P with a 60-minute higher time frame, and this was stopped out at its loss limit of 750. The goal here is 850, and what's interesting is that the equity high here was about probably $650, so just shy of its goal. And unfortunate because it came so close, and then it basically took it on the chin from there and got stopped out. But I wanted to show it because, once again, a lower goal, say $500, you would have had a profitable day on this chart, or even 600. So when trading live, your daily profit goal and loss limit are two of your most important considerations. And that should be decided based on the size of your account, what kind of trader you are, and what time frames you're trading as well. Okay, the ES on a regular 5 Renko chart is also pretty reliable. This had a decent gain of 400 today. The goal is 800, so shy of its goal. This one is with the Super Renko 8-tick is the higher time frame. Okay, the 6-tick Super Renko on the crude oil, using our line break logic, had an equity high here of about 700 and finished the day at 400. That's all for today's video.